I am not here to change men. I don't care, but I am here to help women on the pick-me spectrum, which is all of us, to keep moving farther off the pick-me spectrum. And I have a success story here. Y'all know that I talk about this all the time. We can't change men. I'm done. Like if they want to listen to my stuff and learn, yay! Like I'm here for it. But at this point, a lot of men are never going to change if women don't stop enabling and don't stop giving our free labor to them, et cetera, et cetera. And so 2 years ago, this woman who I actually have her permission to share all of this. I prefer not to when someone has done some harm and they're apologizing for it. I don't know, whatever. It's between me and her. So anyway, this person, she used my video and she blasted it out to her followers, which she didn't have that many. I don't know, maybe she had 10,000 or under. In a very short period of time, she grew her following. She has like way more followers than me now. And she basically did this for men, and men ended up attacking me. They, I don't know if they started sharing her video across several platforms, but basically she put me on their radar, and then they were attacking me on like YouTube, over on YouTube, Instagram. They're sending me photos of their legs and all kinds of stuff and telling me to jump in front of a train, blah, 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 you know, the usual stuff. That's really not that creative, honestly. Like y'all could do so much better, but whatever. And I had to private my account for over a month because I didn't want to lose the account on TikTok. I'm pretty sure I privated it on Instagram too, just to get them to go away and forget about me, because they always get bored after a while if you don't engage with them. They eventually forget about you, move on to the next target. So I lost almost a whole month of income because of this. This is before I had Patreon, which actually, you know, means that I can keep going no matter what. Thank you, Patreon people. If you want to see lives and watch parties and travel content and personal stories, go to my Patreon, because that is literally what pays my bills. Thank you, Patreon people. We have fun over there. But it was really like devastating. That's back when TikTok actually paid me. So that was at the height of my TikTok career. Was that was the moment where I actually like could pay almost all my rent with what I made on TikTok. And then that was it. So I have never been able to make money on TikTok since. But that has more to do with, I think, reposting Palestine stuff and like being shadow banned for like most of my mutuals are shadow banned. But anyway, but this was at the height of it, and so I lost a major form of income, and I was so mad. So I reached out to her on Instagram. I blocked her on YouTube, and I reached out to her. I usually don't even bother doing this, but I don't know. I felt like betrayed, and I just wanted her to know, like, this is not cool. So I said, you probably don't care, but you just sent the most violent men. Look, my keyboard is always turning it into French words. Most violent men on TikTok after me with that repost of my video. I've blocked hundreds of dudes in just 2 hours, and now I've got to go private indefinitely to save my account from these men mass reporting me and trolling me because of you. Your videos are so dangerous, dude. Can't you just leave women alone? Seriously. So not cool, especially knowing how violent the internet is for women. I hope it's worth you getting that coveted viral moment and some money at my expense, and lots of male followers who will eventually hate you as much as the rest of us one day. That's a little passive aggressive right there. I write about men's health and stuff for a living, by the way, and you just made that harder to do now. Real cool. Anyway, I just, I wasn't attacking, sorry, let me rephrase that. I was calling out men for this is when I was really started the conversations around men's hobbies, marathon running, climbing, car collecting, golfing, hunting, all this game, all this shit that men spend so much money on, and how that is actually financial abuse on some level. Like major financial abuse is what I've come to realize as I've done more work around it and research on it and listened to women's stories. And so there's a reason why that video and other ones were going viral. And people actually tell me all the time that they didn't realize that until all those videos I did. So this was a really important topic to me because I know so many women whose partners or husbands, boyfriends, whatever, have wasted so much of the family money while they're on like food stamps even. I don't know anybody who's on food stamps because of that, but women have written into me about that. But I know women who it's like they have a whole gear room full of crap you know? And so this was like personal to me because I care a lot about it. And then I didn't realize how big this problem was. And then then to lose my own income for talking about men financially abusing women by a woman who was trying to defend men, being like, this is so ridiculous. Like, y'all just hate men, blah, blah, blah. Ugh, I was so annoyed. And I won't say I forgot about it because I never forgot what caused that moment. But I wasn't mad at her anymore. And I also like I said, we're all on the pick me spectrum. We all, like some people, because of their family they're raised in, or because of where they're raised, what country the region, the communities they're raised in, they may not have as much indoctrination in the patriarchy as other people, but especially their families, you know, like women who have a lot of like sexual abuse, stuff like that, tend to end up becoming the worst pick me. I say this from experience because of this whole thing of like trying to comprehend the trauma and then therefore like just repeating it and letting men harm us so much. I hate to say letting, please don't misunderstand what I'm saying, but just, you know, it's like I had a target on my forehead. Oh, you want someone to self-abandon? I'll do it. And so you will never convince me that the biggest pick-me's don't have some of the most trauma from men, right? Or they just are fucking greedy and are just so attached to money. Like, I'm speaking mostly to white women, especially, want that money so bad that they will throw anyone under the bus to serve the white man. So it's usually one of those two things. A lot of trauma, or just no great men in their lives, or just a lot of like abuse, but a sexual abuse, something like that, right? So even it's like, as much as I get frustrated with pick-me's and how much harm they do and how much they endanger all of us, especially their children, especially, you know, their friends, putting friends, whatever. At the end of the day, I have to forgive them on some level, because if I don't, then I'm a hypocrite. Because when I was in my height of my pick-me-ism, which I had no idea I could be that big of a pick-me till I actually started dating a man at 36. It's easy to be, you know, decenter men and not be like, you know, that much into the pick-me-ism when you don't date them or marry them or give birth to their children or, you know, mother them, right? I was just, you know, did that behavior with my dad, maybe some coworkers, but I was really just, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. I'm going to do awesome jobs, blah, blah, blah. And then I started dating at 36 and oh my God, I almost died of my pick-me-ism. And I almost got other people harmed because of it. So there is a part of me that I always have to remember whenever I want to lash out at pick-me's and hate them, justified anger for the harm that they do. I will always, you know, hold space. I hate that term, but I will always let people be upset with that, with the pick-me's who enable men, right? Because I know personally what is driving that, for me at least. And so I just assume there's something going on there that isn't good that's driving their behavior. And so this was one where I was like, I'm not going to be mad at her, but that fucking sucked. That sucked, right? And so I don't enable pick-me's in my life. I'm still learning how to not do that. Enabling women who center men, you might as well be centering men, you know, like might as well. So that is like at the level I'm at now, is learning how to stand up to women who center men, or learning how to just not let them force me to center men through them, right? Whether it's, you know, like in family stuff, friend stuff, because we all know someone who's like dating or married to like an awful dude, and how much of us end up paying that price, like extending so much grace to her because whatever, blah. So having said all that, I never thought I would hear from this woman. And that last week, I did, y'all. Long time. I'm writing you because you were all right about me. I was a pick-me with internalized misogyny, mainly the latter. Late last year, I began seeing the light, but I realize now that I've wasted my whole forking life being this shit, and I've paid heavily for it throughout. I was born in 1963. This woman is beautiful. I would have never guessed. Sorry, that's really ageist of me. She does not look, oh my God, that was so ageist. God. I'm glad I can catch myself in the middle of it now. That's progress. I wouldn't even notice that before. Okay, sorry. What I meant to say is she looks way younger than me. Like, I'm 47. Anyway. So she grew up when it was so much worse than when I grew up. And I hated being female since puberty, so I found comfort in acquiescing to the patriarchy. But the women on TikTok have opened my eyes. I see it now. I see the damage we've all sustained. I will never let a man into my life again. I think a lot of people, when they get really harmed, say this. And I think that's a good thing. But I also think that it's okay if later on, after you've done a lot of healing, you put your toe in the water, because you may have a son. You may have a male friend, may never date again, like whatever. But I do think, especially when you come out of something so awful, this is the energy. Just stop. And just assume they all forkin' suck for as long as you need to. And then if, after you've really worked on like that codependency, like that you've been indoctrinated with, or that is there because of like your story, then, it may not have to be so like rigid, but I would much rather women go far in this direction than just be like, well, I'm just going to keep trying, letting them, let's see what happens. Anyway. And I will work to let other women know what I've endured. This is how storytelling is so powerful. This is one of the reasons why I do this work. I hope that I comfort a lot of y'all who may have shame for your own pick-me-ism. You're not alone. It's really embarrassing to be a feminist who talks about this stuff on stage and does stories about it and then writes about it, who has this in their story. Being a survivor of domestic violence, like being in an abusive relationship and being like publicly a feminist was, that was like, 10 years ago. It was still embarrassing. God, it's so embarrassing. Anyway, sharing our stories is changing the world, y'all. Just wanted to share that with you, that I was wrong. And I thank you and others for the work that you do. It's going to take a lot to change women like me, but it's doable. I believe it will happen. I do too. XOXO. Wow. This is really a memorable thing to do. This means a lot to me. Honestly, I'm sorry you had to learn the hard way, like so many of us, but I appreciate you writing this and admitting that you were wrong. Not many people on the internet do that, and especially not with this much sincerity. So thank you. This made my day. Take care of yourself, and thanks for giving me hope today that our work matters and that it does make a difference. So actually, her and I have been chatting even more. She went into even more about this. But yeah, I've unblocked her on TikTok. We have a dialogue going, and this gives me so much hope. It really does. I know I talk, when talking about this stuff, it ends up feeling like a lot of negative energy. It feels like, God, it's just like, men, this, nah. And so I try to focus some on what women can do to stop enabling this system that is crushing us and killing us. Because if all the men went away today, we would be a world full of pick-me's. And it's not even about men so much as it about hierarchy. It's so much deeper than just men. Especially because white supremacy culture and all this other stuff is tied into it. Capitalism and all that stuff. Ableism, homophobia, transphobia, all that stuff. So anyway, I turned one! And like someone who caused me so much harm. To get that from her. I get messages in my comments a lot. Some of y'all share like things that you used to do and that you don't do anymore. And those mean the world to me. And some of y'all have reached out to me and told me stuff like that. And that keeps me going. But I never expected this level. I never expected someone who built a whole platform on shitting on us, me and some of my mutuals. And then to come back. And as far as I know, she has apologized to more than one of us. and being like, I was wrong. I was wrong. Y'all were right. And thank you. Y'all, we're going to be okay. What we're doing is important. Keep going, y'all. Keep going. One by one, I am telling you, if we stop enabling these men, if we stop giving them our labor, giving them our money, siding with them over women all the time, not believing, like if we just, but especially the labor, y'all. It's the labor. It all comes down to labor. It's deeper than that. There's so much more, but the labor, that's why they do this. Free labor. Endless free labor and power. And we, bit by bit, can take ours back. Oh my God. Anyway, let me know what you think. Share your own stories if you want. Please follow my Patreon if you can afford it. I have a live coming up on next Thursday. We're going to talk about creativity and turning our lives into creativity. One of my mutuals is going to be on there. This is going to be on next Thursday. We are going to talk about storytelling, comedy, turning being adventurous, travel life, and how to turn pain into gold, how to turn pain into creativity. We're gonna talk about so much child-free life, decentering men. This is gonna be great. Anyway, yeah, and I tell my personal stories over there and do watch parties and all kinds of other stuff, fun stuff. Thank you so much, Patreon people. Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you for your comments that remind me of why I do this. That is what keeps me going on days where I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? What's the point? Truly, truly, thank you. And let me know if you heard the comment song. Short little comment song, Mo's comment song, Mo's comment. Short little comment song, Mo's teeth comment song. Look at that comment song, his lips fall on his teeth like that. He's such a cute baby in the little baby teeth. Mo's comment song, short baby comment song. Look at the baby teeth. Join my Patreon if you can, or leave a comment, or both.